Peace, peace, peace. We are back at the Parry, where we don't pull or duck no punches. I'm your host, Bomani UFG,
I am the pragmatic Jay Black.
and we got the one and only Rakeem Shabazz from Wise to Doom TV back in the building. You know he's part of the family. What's up, God? Peace.
Peace to the gods. How y'all?
You know,
Chilling. How you
same
say it,
fight
Shay?
around, man.
No doubt, no doubt, man. We had a great card of boxing, man. I can't wait to build about it with y'all brothers, man. It's definitely one of the best cards I think I've seen, man, from top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? Like it lived up to its billing as the card of the century, I think.
Nah, absolutely, man. But before we
All
get
of
started,
the
let me just
century.
remind everybody to jab that like button. Go ahead and uppercut that subscribe button, lead hook that share button, and throw a combination at the notification bell so you can stay updated when we drop new content. And also, you can follow us on Twitter, or what they call it now, X, and on Instagram at the Parry 101, and follow us on TikTok at the dot Parry 101. Man, jumping my words, man. But yeah, man. Yo, Che Blicky, what's good with you, brother? How you feeling?
You know, it's coming off a great, like he said, a great weekend of boxing, a great boxing card. And outside of boxing, some interesting things taking place that are somewhat boxing related. We have a lot of things going on from Floyd Mayweather. He's in the news with purchasing 10% of the New York Giants.
Wow.
You know, uh, we have Schofield having being hospitalized, and the drama now that's going back and forth with him and Golden Boy Promotions now. He basically making some serious accusations about Golden Boy and their possible involvement with him even being hospitalized.
Mm.
You know, so it's a lot going on right now in boxing. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, yeah, I can dig it, man. What do you call it? I will say that fight card, yeah, it's one of the best fight cards that I can remember from top to bottom. I mean, the first fight to the last fight, it was like definitely. But see, but to me, it all boils down to matchmaking. I don't know who's matchmaking for Turkey or if he's the one actually making these bouts and doing the matchmaking, but we definitely know he the one cutting the checks.
Yeah.
So, when you got money involved and you got people who actually love the sport that's putting the fights together, you're gonna get cards like this. And let's be
Yeah,
real, over the past year and a half, 2 years, he's been putting on the best fight cards. Period.
yeah. He's definitely been putting on some great fight cards. It reminds me, well, actually, it's on a whole nother level, but it's kind of reminiscent of in the late '90s when, um, oh man, I'm seeing his face right now, but I can't. Lou DeBella,
Mm.
was running
Yeah.
HBO Sports. He was the vice president over there, and he was doing some excellent matchmaking back then, and it really brought in a golden era in boxing during that time period. And it kind of reminds me of that when you have somebody who is involved with the sport, but is also a fan and wants to see some of the same fights that the fans want to see, the diehard fans, the casual fans, the fans, whoever.
Yeah, no doubt. Yo, Raheem, I mean, yesterday, me and Raheem, we always text. Like when the fights is on, we always texting back and forth. You know what I'm saying? So it was pretty much all day yesterday. We going back and forth about what we was
Bruh,
thinking
from
about the fights.
11:30 to 7, man. That's a long fight card too. You know what I mean? Pause.
Long
But you know
fight
what I'm
card.
saying?
Nah, for real.
Yeah.
But let's talk. Let's start with the first fight on the card. Well,
Mm.
not the undercard, like, but
Yeah.
like the main card, undercard, if that makes sense. Callum Smith and Joshua Buatsi. Like, give me your thoughts on that fight, cause man, that might be, and for me, that might be candidate as the early fight of the year. Like, that was a damn good fight, but you know what I mean? How you saw it, God?
Yeah, that was a great fight. That was definitely one of my favorites of the night, man. It was a lot of back and forth. Um, you know, I was kind of surprised with Callum Smith's performance. I thought maybe he was just a little too old. You know what I'm saying? Been in a lot of wars and but Nah, man, that was a great fight. I would like to actually see part two. You know what I mean? I think it was that good. I know they probably have other plans for Callum Smith though, from especially with Bivol winning. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that. I heard people kind of throwing out Callum Smith and who was I can I can't even remember who they were kind of throwing out there right after the fight. But at the same time, yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite fights of the night, man. A lot of back and forth action. Buatsi got a lot of heart. They both had heart. Like if you look at Colin Smith at the end of the fight, he didn't look like he won, right? But I mean,
Right.
if you yeah, you know what I'm saying. But if
Real.
you watch it, you know what I mean. Like he did his thing, man. Shout out to both fighters, man. That was definitely one of the best fights of the night.
Man, that fight took place in the phone booth. I
Yeah,
don't
man.
remember much clinching in that fight. Them dudes was in there in the phone booth going at it back and forth, going to the body. It was like they both was hurting each other to the body. You know what I mean? Callum Smith, and it's funny because I was having this conversation with a fellow hardcore boxing fan. You know what I mean? Where I work. So, but he don't give. He's like Che. He don't like nobody. He don't give nobody no.
See, yeah, you're being extra, man. But go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
he, yo, with this guy, if you're not knocking somebody out, man, he don't even rate you. But I was talking about the card, and I was like, what's an interesting fight is the Buatsi Callum fight? And he was like, oh, both these guys ain't worth nothing. I said, nah, they may not be at the top, at the top of the division, but it's the matchmaking. Because
Hmm.
I knew that would be a good fight. I'm like, no, it's the matchmaking. That's going to be a good fight. I knew it was going to be a good fight, man. But Che, what you thought about the Callum Smith and Joshua Buatsi fight, man?
Well, I thought it was definitely a phone booth fight. It's a run it back. I'm like the God said. Let's see that again. That was definitely one of them fights that was worth seeing again. You know. Next, that's the question. Is what would be ideally next? Because like my man said, it wasn't really a fight that seemed to be high stakes,
Right.
so to speak. So it wasn't a high stakes. It was somewhat of an entertaining, almost reminiscent of a Gaddy Ward type fight, where it's like, okay, this definitely pump some life into the winner just because of the excitement. However, what it really does is makes the intrigue to see these guys do it again, just so we could see another great fight out of these two guys. And hopefully there's a payday, a paycheck waiting for them to do this again, a bigger than the first one. So hopefully,
Yeah,
that's what they'll get from this.
I thought a victory for Buatsi would kind of elevate him uh, in the division. Not that Callum Smith, but Callum Smith got a name. He was a former champion. I believe he fought Canelo. Like he's been in there with some guys. So I thought that this victory, a victory over Callum Smith, would elevate him, a little higher in the division. It's not like it's not the gold medal. It's not the
Right.
it's not the wildest beast in the jungle, but nonetheless it's a name. And Joshua Buatsi for years, he's never he never really reached that the potential that people thought that he was going to have in and around that division. And I thought of a win over Callum Smith would just elevate him a little higher, after this give him a bigger fight. But even though in defeat, I thought one like Raheem said, the heart that he showed, and how good the fight was, and like I agree with both of you, something that I will watch again. I do think it still elevates him just a little bit to where he could possibly get a bigger name now for a fight, because sometimes dudes will lose a fight and it's like, yeah, you got dog walk, or they show so much heart and valor in the fight where it's like you gotta respect them. The man was taking some body shots. You saw on his face, your man looking like, other fighters would have quit with some of them left hooks that was hitting him to the ribs and to the liver.
That's what I
Like
was going to
both of
say.
them
I
guys.
was surprised nobody got dropped, man. Like they both showed a hell of a chin. You know what I'm saying? Because some of those shots they was taking, all those body shots, like Callum give one, Watsi give it right back. You know what I'm saying? Like it was back and forth like that all night.
all night, all night. But shout out to Callum Smith, who beat Joshua Buatsi by
Well, I
unanimous
mean,
decision.
in all honesty, we've kind of seen what Callum Smith looks like against the top fighters in the division. So
Yeah.
to really think, even this fight right here, I don't think that it showed that he's much better than what we already thought. I think that it showed that, he had the right opponent to make it a very entertaining fight.
Yeah,
You know,
it was
I don't.
all matchmaking for sure.
Wasn't Yardy in attendance?
Yeah, he was.
I wonder
Yeah,
if
he
that.
was.
I wonder if he was kind of looking at either one of them like, yeah, give me him next.
I would like to
But
see.
I
I
will
would
say
watch him
this.
and Buatsi. I would watch him and Buatsi mix it up, man. I would like to see them.
I will say this though. It does though for Smith. It does, create some type of intrigue just off of, okay, we know that he's not a dog. We see, what he's willing to do and how he's willing to let it all hang out when necessary in the fight. So that always makes for exciting matchmaking for anybody. It's like I even mentioned the Torgatti. For years he was getting fights with different champions and things of that nature just because it's pretty known that he's going to make a good fight. He might not be on the championship caliber of a fighter, but he's gonna make it entertaining as long as it lasts.
Right.
Someone
like Gaddy, though, you scared him too hard, and all of a sudden he just starts gashing open and stuff.
Gaddy used to lead the ring needing a blood transfusion.
Yeah,
man. Like, that dude was gushing blood everywhere. But shout out
Gaddy
to Buatsi,
was something
man,
out of a
Smith,
horror
man.
film.
That was definitely a highly entertaining fight. So
Yes,
shout out to both of them, man. I think one guy got to lose. I don't think nobody lost, man. Especially the fans, man. That was a great fight. Also on that card, where we going next? We had the fight that I was highlighting, that I was saying, would probably be fight of the night or one of the better fights on the card, which was Zheli Zhang versus Agit Kabayel. Now, I've been telling cats about Kabayel for a minute, and people, especially Che, Che don't like nobody. Like I said, that's gonna be the theme.
Well,
of the
it's
show.
the heavyweight division. It has nothing to do with not liking nobody, but it's the heavyweight division. Just get it right. Saying. That's all I'm saying. Just get it right.
You can't help.
There is no dominant heavyweight fighters out there right now. There's no heavyweight fighters to capture the imagination of the American public right now.
No, listen.
There's no dominant heavyweight fighters.
You can't help what era you fighting in. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can only compare fighters against the people that's in that era and how they compete against one another. You know what I'm saying? Mike Tyson didn't fight in the era of Muhammad Ali. We know Muhammad Ali probably fought in the most dangerous era of heavyweight boxing. We know Mike Tyson beat up a bunch of dudes that was scared to death the moment they got in there.
Holyfield and Tyson both fought in one of the most dangerous eras in boxing as well.
Yeah.
The difference is Holyfield fought the most dangerous fighters in his era.
He what?
He fought all of the most dangerous fighters in his era.
I mean, and in this era, you got fighters like Agit Kabayel, right? And this
I'm not denying the era. I'm not denying the era. I'm just saying that there's nothing to be excited about in the heavyweight division. There's nothing, absolutely nothing. There's a little bit of intrigue here,
that, Come on, man.
It's all intrigue. It's all intrigue. But what was gonna be your point? Because you made a point. I'm only responding to you saying I don't like anybody, and I had to respond. What was gonna be
you just highly critical. Like these dudes can't make Mike Tyson pop up in this era and fight him. You know what I'm saying? You just can't, bro. You got to fight against the competition that's in and around you at the time, bro. This is not their fault, bro. But I am still highly entertained by a lot of these fights.
Real quick now, because you can't do that. No, I'm not gonna allow you to do that real quick like that.
Do what?
Say that and then step off. No, what you just did. Listen to what I'm saying, yo. What you just did. try to drop that and step off. Look, the era is weak. Period. If Mike Tyson was in this era, right? If Mike Tyson was in this era, he would be in an era knocking out bums, similar to when he came into the heavyweight picture. When he came into the heavyweight picture was probably the weakest it had been since Rocky Marciano. You know what I'm saying?
It was his brother-in-law and shit.
Let me ask you this.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Let me ask you this. So we are kind of transitioning from the end of the era with like, I know he's still fighting. He just fought. He just lost the undisputed for Tyson Fury though. Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. That era, we're kind of going into a new era from them, right? Like, did you consider that era weak as well?
That era was Twinkie feeling. Complete.
I ain't tripping. I just want to know. If you thought that era was weak, I know you think this one is.
This era is an extension of that era.
Yeah.
This era, the boxing. Listen. Since Lennox Lewis retired from boxing, we have had the weakest, droughtest heavyweight division. Since the Klitschko's were dethroned and retired or whatever the case, since the end of the Klitschko era, that was the end of the last great dominant heavyweight champion era. That's the last time we've seen a great dominant heavyweight champion, and that was in Vladimir Klitschko and Vitaly Klitschko. The last time we seen great dominant champions. And they dominated a piss poor, weak ass division.
Well, you see people putting Usyk in these all-time lists now.
Real quick, I just wanted to end it. But they dominated. We don't have that type of dominance. Nobody can seem to be able to rise above this pile of mediocrity that calls itself the heavyweight division right now.
I ain't mad at it. I do see some intriguing matchups that can be made in the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what Bomani is getting at. Whenever you look at Joseph Parker, Caballero, Anthony Joshua still around. I mean, there's some fights that can be made that are interesting.
Entertaining at best. And entertaining at best. But what are the actual stakes for the future of the division with whoever wins these fights, if we're being honest?
I mean, Usyk got all 4 belts, so whoever can dethrone Usyk gonna be undisputed as well. I mean, it's a lot at stake. You know what I'm saying?
Right now, everything is on Usyk right now.
Just to correct that, like Dubois has the IBF.
Everything is on Usyk right now.
Okay. Dubois got the IBF?
What happened?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nah, Dubois got the IBF.
Yeah, that's right, because Joseph Parker
Usyk is the champ.
Yeah.
Dubois is a titleist. He's a heavyweight titleist right now. He's a complete heavyweight titleist.
Che is critical of heavyweight boxing. Like, we talk about this all the time. He don't respect these guys because he believes that the division is so weak.
Division. It's not that I don't respect them. It's the division. You're asking. Here's the thing. It's not like there's a Mike Tyson in this division, or Lennox Lewis in this division that we're sitting there saying, well, he's fighting in a weak division. What I'm saying is there's nobody separating themselves from the division. There's nobody separating themselves from the mediocrity to say, well, at least I'm decent. I might be fighting in a bad era, but at least I'm kicking all of these guys' asses, though. There's nobody doing that.
I feel you. And everybody, make sure y'all check out the top 10 heavyweight video on this joint, because it's one of the dopest breakdowns I've seen in boxing YouTube. So yeah, make sure y'all check that out.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. But hold on, man.
Best ever. What's this thing face for?
Yo, bro. What you mean? Okay. like I really want to get into this Caballero fight, but hold on.
No, you don't want to get into this Caballero fight.
Nah, because listen, man, you don't want, because to Che just can't admit that I'm right in regards to he don't mess with these guys, man. He don't like this era of heavyweight. I'm gonna say heavyweight boxing. But hold on, bro.
I don't. I'm agree with you there.
Right.
I don't.
Right.
You're right.
You're right. Saying that you call these dudes mediocre, like the division is weak, and you said ain't nobody separating themselves from the pack, more or less. But we had an undisputed champion. Like Usyk clearly separated himself from everyone else. And he moved up from cruiserweight like Evander. He moved up from cruiserweight. He's a heavyweight.
As Usyk came up,
in this era
rounds with these guys.
Say it again.
As Usyk ran around with these guys. Usyk has proven that he's probably the best heavyweight fighter right now in the division. But has he been dominant? Has he been able to show that I'm a dominant champion?
He hasn't.
What's his reign look like?
He got Joshua twice, Boy twice, Fury twice. I mean, that's a lot.
And like I said, it's on. And I said that. And listen. I said it's on Usyk right now, because right now it's on. Usyk has the best chance right now. I will give him that. He leads the pack, but has he separated himself from the pack? I'm just not convinced that this dude is anything special.
Oh my God. Oh man, this dude said Usyk is not. All right, let's get to the fight card. Hold on, man. Wait a minute. Yo, I had to hit you with that for that take, bro. You said Usyk is nothing special. Yo, for that take, I had to just, you know what I mean?
I said I'm not convinced yet. I didn't say he's not nothing special. I said I'm just still not convinced.
Like that's insane.
I think that's what I said.
And I'm just going to speak on behalf of the Parry. The Parry, as an entity, as a show, we don't co-sign nor condone the wild statements by my co-host, the pragmatic Che Black. You know what I mean? We're gonna call him Critical Che, because he just he just can't.
No, he's not.
Yo,
no, he's not.
No, he's not. You still living in yesteryear, man. Like Che's one of the baddest when it comes to boxing history. Like he could go off the top of the dome and just run it down.
Hold on, real quick, because you're being unfair right now. So real quick, because you're being a little bit unfair right now. All right, right now we actually have third party right now who I already know this brother. This brother is very impartial. He's he's only partial to the truth.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Now, from what I was just stating, right? Do I seem like I'm actually hating on the heavyweight division, or I'm giving an honest, fair assessment of what I believe to be what is the heavyweight division?
I think that
I just want to know your opinion, brother. I
think that is your honest, fair assessment of the heavyweight division. I think you may be underrating Usyk just a tad bit, though. You know what I mean? Because Joshua twice,
that's fair enough.
Fury twice, Dubois, like that's. I mean, who else?
None of them are anybody special, though. These are guys who just happen to be in the right place at the right time.
At one time, we felt like Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury.
Thought.
Then
we found out.
I mean, he had a good run. I give Joshua
had a damn good run. I'm not gonna lie about that. He had a damn good run. His ascension to the title, I thought that he had the potential to be the next great dominant heavyweight champion of the world, and it wasn't the case. I never was sold on Deontay Wilder because I never felt that he was as sound as he should be. I felt like his fundamentals were always suspect, and I thought that was always going to be something that was going to hurt his career. And until he figured that out, which he didn't, it was going to be a problem for him. But I thought that he was, he was an elite fighter, but he had weaknesses that were going to, at the level that he was at, was going to be detrimental.
Understood. Why are you looking like that, Bamano?
What, man?
Nut, man. Look, man. I'm not even going. Look, Critical Che.
I know that's your man.
I'm
I know that's your man.
look. Critical Che gonna be Critical Che. You know what I mean? The critical one. You know what I mean?
He don't like when I say something about his peoples like that, man. It's just that in this particular case, there's not much he can say, because when the aggravating factors start coming out, you know what I'm saying? It's going to look bad.
Well, wasn't that always the Knocko Wilder though? I mean, he got the right hand. It's like a cannon, but outside of that, like he don't really have any fundamentals or skills because he picked up boxing late.
I don't think that it's up for debate whether Deontay Wilder had skills or not. We knew he lacked the fundamentals. However, let's not act like this dude wasn't he wasn't exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Like this dude was putting.
He was a roundhouse warrior. Of course, he's gonna be exciting.
he was putting cats, and at the same time, for somebody that didn't have the fundamentals to reach the level of, one, becoming a champion, two, to get in the ring with the likes of people like Ortiz and the Furies, and I mean he beat up Ortiz twice, knocked him. I was at one of the fights at the Barclays, man. Everybody at one point
might not have got.
Hold on. At one point, Ortiz was looked at as the boogeyman of the division. Nobody wanted to fight him. Wilder fought him twice, put him out. He gets in the ring with Tyson Fury 3 times. There's somebody that don't have the fundamentals that rise to the top of the sport, and he was giving us highlight knockouts. I mean, this guy he's regarded as one of the hardest hitters to ever lace up the gloves, man. You see when he did the Spilker. You know what I mean? He damn near put that boy on a mural somewhere on a t-shirt, bro. The way he hit him, man. All I'm saying is you can't be so critical that you can't give these guys their respect in their own era. This era compared to the past eras, no, it don't stack up as far as talent wise.
What does that mean?
But
what does that mean? Because what am I supposed to say? He's the best of these guys? Okay, he's the best of these guys.
I'm just saying just get these dudes they
doesn't
respect.
Translate to say much. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that being the best in this era doesn't really translate to say much unless you are completely dominating. You got to go out there and kick these guys' asses. And if you're not doing that, if you're not Mike Tyson in these guys in this era, it's hard for me to sit there and say how you would have translated to the next. No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
How many?
He wasn't.
Like how many?
Oh, wait.
11 title defenses.
Wait, I'm gonna tell you why. 11 title defenses against Tuna Fish. All right.
See, this is what I'm saying.
And in his best fights, he was losing most of the fight.
Yo,
his power actually bailed him out. Both of the Ortiz's fights, he wasn't winning them fights.
Yo, Rakeem, you see my point now? I'm looking at the man in this era. No, would he have survived in Tyson's era or Holyfield's era? Probably not. He won't be able to do what he did. I'm just giving the man his proper respect.
What am I supposed to be saying about him in his era? What am I supposed
to be saying? But
you
was like he beating up tuna cans. Yo, this the era he fighting in, man. Everybody got Mike Tyson. Yeah, I mean, Mike was beating on tomato cans. You know what I mean?
Watch him out.
See? You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying.
Mike was beating up on cab drivers and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
remember Joe Louis had the Bum of the Month Club. He did his little tour beating up on.
But that was the Bum of the Month Club is the most. And if you don't understand that, go watch the greatest heavyweights. Everybody out there, the greatest heavyweights that ever lived on the Parry. The Bum of the Month was labeled after the fact, not during the fact. And it was one of those. He was the way he was beating guys, but. A lot of those guys, it's actually disrespectful. The ones that he actually beat on that tour, to say that those were bums. And I broke it down in that, so I ain't got to get back into it right now. But just the Joe Louis, who is an ancestor, a relative of mine, to save his name with this Bum of the Month, like he was running around fighting bums. Joe Louis was the greatest heavyweight, at least in the top 1 or 2 greatest heavyweights that ever lived.
Absolutely. And if he's a relative of yours, then I need to find out then why you hating so much. Your mind, your boxing mind sometimes it just confuses me, man. But listen, let's get to the
type of
fights,
greatness that I expect. That's why. Because that's the type of greatness that I expect.
Let's get to the Caballero Zhang fight. Now again, like I was saying, I've been telling cats about Caballero for a minute. When he beat on what's my man name? Muhammad. You know, I'm bad with these Russian names, man. I don't even know my man name. That I mean, I know his name, I just can't say it. Let me try to pronounce this dude he beat 2 fights ago. Try to pronounce his name. Mudov. Yeah. The giant. Big giant Russian, man. And I knew that was going to be.
He know how to pronounce his name. How you pronounce that, Rakim? How you say that, Rakim?
Mahmudov. Something like that.
Yeah.
Mahmudov.
Mahmudov. And he came back and he beat up. He came back and he knocked out Frank Sanchez. And then he gets in there with Zhilei Zhang. Now, Rakim could bear witness, man. You know what I'm saying? When he got dropped, when Zhang dropped him, what I say? I said, oh, Zhang about to lose. My man about to come back and put it on him. And what happened? He came back that very next round and put Zhang to bed. Yep. That was an excellent fight. I'm a big fan of Caballero. But Rakim, man, give me your thoughts on the fight.
Yeah. No, you definitely called that one, man. My first time seeing Caballero was against Frank Sanchez in one of the Riyadh fights last year, and what I took away from him is like, okay, like he's a skillful heavyweight. You know what I mean? He got some boxing skills, and you know, against Zhang, a big, powerful, giant type dude, he put those boxing skills to work. He went to the body. You know, Zhang, what, 41 years old, something like that. But you know, people talked about Caballero would have to get him out of there or win the fight in the second half of the fight because they felt like Zhang was going to, you know, lose steam, right? Because towards the end because of his age. But Caballero got him out, what, round 5? You know what I mean? He showed skills. Now I'm not super high on Zhang, but I think Caballero is definitely on the rise. I heard he just signed. He just signed with somebody today, is a matter of fact. But yeah, I definitely want to see more of Caballero. That was a great fight. Whenever he got dropped, I was like, you called it, but I thought like, oh shit, man, it's over with. You know what I'm saying? I thought Zhang was just gonna pound him to death. You know what I mean? But nah, he got up, he showed heart, he showed skills, and got him out of there in the 5th.
Yo, Che, so what did you think of the Caballero Zhang fight? Now go ahead with your disrespect. Go ahead. What you did? Go ahead. We listening. Hold up. Well, wait. Stop. Hold on 1 second before. Not to cut you. Shout out to my brother. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother. I don't know if he want me to, you know, put his name out there. He's a very private brother, but he is watching. You know what I'm saying? And he just shot me a text, and he said he agreed with Che about the heavyweight division. So I just want to put that out there that somebody agree. But I'm gonna say I agree with you. I agree with you in the sense of this era is not the strongest era of heavyweight boxing. I just give these fighters they due credit and respect for fighting in this era and doing whatever it is they got to do. They handling their business. You know what I'm saying? I like boxing, man. This ain't, you know. But anyway, go ahead, Che. Go ahead with your disrespect. Go ahead. We listen.
I'm glad the brother was able to be and have an impartial ear, you know, man, and observe. But all right, so the Zhang Caballero, the Kalalua, Kabuka. No, peace. The fight was it was definitely Zhang is like a Obed Sullivan or maybe a Ray Mercer type. You know, he's rugged, he's durable, he's had his moment. There was a brief second where, you know, there was intrigue and, you know, it was he was starting to capture the imagination of a couple of fans, and we thought that maybe this kid would be something or further than what he did. That time came and went. We seen that he is now starting to become a recognizable name to have on the resume of a heavyweight now. You know, he's one of the guys, well, if you can beat him, then maybe you belong in this next circle. You want to get to past this level, you beat the guys like him. You know, not to call him an outright stepping stone, because he actually possesses the power to be able to, you know, turn around. He's a decent threat. He's a game fighter for anybody he's in the ring with. But he's absolutely turned into one of those, you know, Obed Sullivan, you know, Ray Mercer type, you know, those type fighters.
No, I get it. That was all right, Shay. I thought you was gonna trash this fight and trash both. Shout out to Jay Black. Yo, let me just remind everybody, please go ahead and jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, lead hook that share button, and throw a combination at the notification bell so you can stay updated when we drop new content here on the Parry. But please go ahead and hit that like button, man, because it helps out the channel and our visibility when it comes to algorithms and all of that stuff that I don't really completely understand. But
was he already signed with Queensberry? Because I think that's the news that I saw today. Caballero?
I believe so. Okay. I believe so. I could be wrong about that. But listen. This is probably just a sidebar conversation real quick that we can just touch on real quick. The American boxing landscape and from a promotional aspect, right? The PBCs and the top ranks and even the Golden Boy. Right? It seemed like they're starting to take a backseat to these British promoters now, right?
Looks like it.
Queensberry, Matchroom. I remember when Eddie Hearn first started working with the Zone, and everybody thought the business model in regards to just they approach the pay-per-view and all of this and that it was, and watching boxing on the app, like it was insane that it wasn't going to work. And Eddie Hearn said, pretty much he had plans on becoming the number one promotional, boxing promoter out there, and as well as to do it with the Zone, and that how they was going to change just the landscape of how boxing business was done and how we was going to absorb this content. Man, was he right? Like, who knew this was going to be like this 4 or 5 years ago? To the point where, like, now I would only have my DAZN subscription when it was time for me, because everybody know I live up here in Canada. I would only use my DAZN subscription to watch NFL League Pass, and after the NFL season was done, I would cancel it. But it's so many good fights. They're giving you 180 some odd fights per year on DAZN, and now you inject probably who me and Che refer to as the emperor, the emperor of boxing, Turkey Al Sheikh, right? You inject him and his money, that oil money, excuse me, inject that into the sport, and this is what we getting now. Like, you saw your man call out Al Heyman when it came to call for a fight between Beterbiev and Bivol. He's like, Al Heyman, like, let's make the fight. Like, this is exciting. This is the most exciting era of boxing from a promotional standpoint in regards to just the fights that I know we can get now. I
also like those, how they I guess Turkey is having these 5 versus 5 type fights where it's like Queensberry versus Matchroom. Then he mentioned what Matchroom versus did he mention Matchroom versus Golden Boy? Didn't he mention he mentioned De La Hoya? Like, that type of shit is fire, man. Like, the concept alone.
Yo, it's amazing to see. Go ahead, Che.
I was gonna say, you know, Golden Boy was over there with the turkey, and it's one of them situations where he's bringing a lot of a lot of companies together that don't like to have to work together, don't want to have to split the pie together and all of that. And he's been able to present a big enough pie for everybody to say, well, there's enough for me and him, and you know, so he's able to. I don't know how long that's going to last, because I don't know if that's based on how big the pie actually is, or if that's based on how big the pie he's able to personally present to make these fights happen. So that's gonna be a telltale in the long run. But as of right now, he's been able to get these guys working together, and they seem comfortable. They don't seem worried, as opposed to, you know, to becoming non-necessary, non-existent. You know, it's like, yo, you know, if I'm these guys promoters, I'm weary of this guy. I'm like, yo, he might take my fighter. You know what I mean? He might open up a check, and next thing you know, I'm not necessary. You know what I'm saying? For him to make the fight happen. And so, you know, I think right now, I don't know exactly the magnitude of how that's working, but it seems to be working for every party involved right now.
Hey, dude, is he? Because I haven't seen much. I never really see much news about it the way I do for fights on Top Rank or PBC. Um, what are them persons like, or does he keep that secretive?
Yeah, a lot of information don't come out about
We
the
don't
Right.
get,
fighters,
yeah,
man.
that's not something that's not up. Like, we're not getting these contracts. We're getting the promotional contracts of what these promoters are paying and whatnot. But only thing we're knowing is he throwing bags at these fighters,
Mm-hmm.
and these
Clearly.
fighters ain't turning them down. Like, we're not actually getting the logistics of that, which kind of makes me believe that, you know, a lot of these fighters aren't getting paid what we thought they might have been getting paid, and maybe the numbers aren't even as astronomical as we think in a lot of cases. You know, a lot of cases, maybe you know, a lot of these fighters may have not seen $1 million purse. So to tell them, yo, I'm gonna give you 1.2 to walk down this aisle and fight this fight, you know, that's a lot for a lot of these fighters. You know, a Tora Gaddy, Mickey Ward, I don't think either one of them fighters seen $1 million purse until they fought each other in the rematch.
Wow. Damn.
So when we
Nah,
look at what boxers are making, of course, that was years ago. We're talking a different time. There's bigger purses, bigger pots. But just in perspective of what, you know, what these fighters make when you're even on TV, but not at a certain level where you're selling out stadiums, you're bringing in pay-per-view numbers that's crazy, you know.
but let's bring it back to my man Caballero. What's next? What's the next up from him? Like, you went through the Mukmadov, whatever my man name is, Sanchez, which was a level up from that, Zhang, which would probably be considered a level up from that. What's next for him? Who's next? Who would we want to see him in the ring with next that will really bring him or elevate his status in the division, which I think he's rapidly climbing because he looks impressive, like more impressive, as he moves up in levels of competition. So who, in your opinion, Rakeem, who you think should be next for him?
I mean, we've mentioned his name a couple times today already.
Mm.
Uh, Caballero is what, and some of the sanctioning bodies, I believe, number 4 heavyweight in the world.
Mm.
Anthony Joshua is sitting there number 6 in some of these
Anthony
sanctioning
Joshua
bodies.
number one in um
Is he?
yeah, he's as high as number one.
Well,
As
today today, I believe, Turkey came out and said he got something big planned for Bacoli. Um, and that might be an interesting fight. We'll get to his performance, later. But I don't know. I think I think Bacoli, Anthony Joshua. I think those are two. I really think Anthony Joshua could make a lot of money for them. Just the whole European thing they got going on.
Word.
But Caballero fights out of Germany, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know, you got Anthony Joshua in the UK. Had that at Wembley or something like that. I feel like that could do some pretty decent numbers.
Man, gonna throw him right in there with AJ. Now,
Look, cause look,
Joshua better be careful with that boy. I'll tell you that. He could end your whole run right now.
I,
It's a little
yeah,
crazy.
I agree. See, but look, the thing is are people as afraid of AJ as they were before?
I don't think so. I
I
think
don't
I
that
think
don't
so.
either.
the aura of, and I don't even think he ever had of aura of invincibility. He always seemed somewhat beatable. It was just will you be able to put him down? Will you be able to get to him and put him down? But I think after his last few performances, I think that he's a fighter that, and I've said this many times, a fighter who's learned how to lose. And
Mm.
once you learn how to lose to that degree, it's a confident booster for fighters going in there to fight you because they know that you have there's something in your mind that at a certain point will actually quit. There's a
Right.
part of you that after a certain point you will concede to defeat. And
What
once you
about
learn
somebody
how to
like
do
a
that
Derek
and accept
Chisora?
that,
My man got a
What
Johnny
about some,
a
Crawford on him.
Derek
Like
Chisora, a Derek
conceit to
Chisora
defeat.
is Derek Chisora is a character. He's almost on the level of a Jose a Jorge what's the clown prince from back in the day? The colorful hair, the little guy.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know you're talking about. I know you're talking about.
yeah, I just can't get his name off right now. It's just crazy that I
Yeah.
can't, man. But I wish one of these guys out here that stream would be able to help me with this one. But Paez. I knew I would get it. He's like a Jorge Paez. He's just a character. He's has a great self promotional campaign going in there with his crazy antics, But he's been around for quite some time. He's got a lot of miles on him, a lot of age on him, and he's always come up super duper short in every big moment he's had. You want to talk about somebody who learned how to lose. He learned how to accept his role coming into the fight.
I do think Caballero versus Anthony Joshua will probably be the next step up, right? Or somebody like in that tier. I don't think Anthony Joshua's at the top tier like he once was, but he's like right under that. So I do think like a fight like Anthony Joshua, probably Anthony Joshua, he probably sitting on that chair by himself. Like
mm.
you know what I mean?
Right.
There's really nobody, like everybody under him is clearly under him, and the ones that's above him is clearly above him, is what would be the champions or people
Right.
who are contended for championships at this point. So yeah, I think the next step up could be an Anthony Joshua fight, and I could see that happening, like you said, at Wembley. That would be a big fight, but that would probably be Anthony Joshua's last fight if he lose that, because you
Or
you
you
know what
would
I
have
mean?
Caballero in that fight?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I would. I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there early.
You
I'm
heard
gonna
it
pick
first on the
Caballero.
Parry 101.
Yeah, yeah, you heard it right here first. I get Caballero over Anthony Joshua, but it'll be a good fight nonetheless, man. Moving on down the card, man, because we know we coming close to so it's time to get up out of here. But we had Carlos Adames versus Hamza Shiraz, which I'm big on Shiraz. I thought he was impressive on his little run up to content for a title. He's been knocking everybody out, man. 6 foot something, 6'2", 6'3", I think, 154 pounder. Good jab, shows some good power. He's long, he's rangy, but he got in there last night with Carlos Adames, who we know was a champion, been in there with some world class fighters himself. Finally, got the belt after Charlo and them kind of been, I ain't gonna say he's been ducking him, but it was hard for him to get that fight. So finally, he was the interim, and they instated him as the full champion, WBC champion. So I thought this would be a good fight. I thought Adames would probably be too much for him, but ultimately the fight was scored a draw, which I disagree with. I thought Adames might have pulled that out, but nonetheless, I thought it was the step up in competition for Shiraz might have been a little bit too much at this point, but nonetheless he earned that shot, and it was a good fight. It was a good fight. You know what I'm saying? I thought he showed well for himself, and obviously some people thought the judges scored it a draw, but I did like the fight. I thought that was another highly entertaining fight. Shiraz seemed to come out, start a little fast using his jab and kind of aggravating Adames a little bit. But Adames, being the crafty vet that he is and the champion, started moving his head more and became more the aggressor, backing him up. Pretty much had Shiraz on the back foot the whole night, which I thought that's what won him the fight. But nonetheless, I think it could be a rematch. I don't know if it'll work out. It will work out for Shiraz after seeing this matchup. But nonetheless, I think it's a good enough fight for me to watch again. But how you see it, God? What you thought about that fight?
Yeah, definitely a good fight. I thought there were some times Shiraz had Adamas in some trouble and didn't mash on the gas. Like he was a little cautious in there. I know one that that Ring Magazine AI judge, the fourth judge, had Adamas winning. It was definitely a good fight. I felt like I didn't see the draw. I did think Shiraz had some opportunities to capitalize on some things, on some good work that he did do. But every time he would back up and give Adamas, a break. I felt like there was a point in time where it might have been beneficial for him to kind of not necessarily throw caution to the wind, but be more aggressive. And when you have a step up fight like that, um, controlled aggression is important at times, right? Like that physical and mental pressure that you putting on your opponent, that can win you the fight in the later rounds. And he didn't do that. And I definitely don't think it was a draw, though. I think Adamas clearly won that fight.
Yo, Jay Black. Uh,
So,
yo, Blicky. Tell
yes,
us what
sir.
you thought about the Shiraz Adames fight, man.
Well, I think that y'all pretty much summed it up. And I'm only saying that because I really want to get into the Shakur into the before we run out of time.
Mm-hmm.
However, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. I don't really need to add much on to that one. I think that y'all was very eloquent. I think Rakeem Shabazz really definitely gave us a good breakdown I agree with both of y'all.
All right, well, let's keep it moving. Let's go ahead and let's get right to it. Uh, Brick City, Brick City Zone. You know what I'm saying?
Shakur
Che Black's
Stevenson.
fellow Jersey native and representative, Shakur Stevenson fighting Josh Padley. Padley literally came off the job. The man was installing solar panels somewhere in the UK. Um, and took the fight on 2 days' notice. He probably made his name after upsetting Chamberlain in his last fight. So now he steps in there with it's funny though because the zone don't really I don't want to be too critical on the show at the zone. Well, one day they may cut us a check, so let me speak nicely. Um, but their commentators don't always speak favorable, of fighters who look, of a certain persuasion, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they was giving Shakur Stevenson a lot of respect and even, calling him one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world.
Yeah,
I
Sergio
don't
and
know.
Porter were.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know
He
if
absolutely was putting on a boxing clinic, but continue though.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
I don't know
I mean,
if
I don't know what they could have said watching that fight outside of what they did say. To be honest with you,
well, listen, no, it's not even
I
about what
do
they
know
were
how
saying
they could.
about.
Don't get me wrong. I do know how biasism can be. I don't want to want you to think that I don't know that there can be biasism in the broadcasting. I'm just saying that it would have been hard. That's all. What we
Well,
stood through.
Shakur did what he had to do. There is some criticism of even of this with like this kid can't win. It seemed like he's been criticized his last three performances. This fight he stops the guy and is still receiving backlash and criticism from other fighters and people out there in the Twitterverse got something to say, but we'll get that to in a second. Just on his performance, though, I think Shakur looked like how Shakur been looking his past few fights, unhittable.
Mm.
Um, I did think he fought a little bit too cautious with this guy, considering that he had a hard hat on 2 days prior. He was out there with his work vest on and his helmet and work gloves, putting up solar panels. Now he in the ring with you, and even if he had a full fight camp, in my opinion, this guy is just not in your class. But he showed him a lot of respect in regards to just his approach to the fight. Um, he didn't engage in a way or really put it on him in the way that we like he did against people like Jamel Herring, world class fighter, like people like Oscar Valdez. Like he put a beating on these guys, and he didn't have the same approach with somebody who was taking his fight on 2 days notice. I don't know if it was a thing like he just wanted to get some rounds in, considering that he's been inactive coming off an injury. Maybe he just wanted to carry him a little bit, and you know, but it took him to the ninth round and tenderized him. He barbecued them ribs, nice, put him down, put him out of everybody out their misery, and you know, Shakur did what Shakur does, man. You know what I'm saying? Again, he looks unhittable, one of the best defensive, if not the best defensive fighter in the sport. Um, and Josh Pally just didn't belong in there with him. But shout out to Shakur, man. You know what I'm saying? Shakur did his thing, won the fight, and is on to the next.
Yeah.
What you got to say, Raheem?
Yeah, man. Shakur did what he was supposed to do, in my opinion. Unhittable, putting great combinations together, lightning fast. Um, I wonder because he hasn't said much about it. What's up with the hand? Did he hurt his hand, or and how severe was that? If he
Mm.
did,
And that's what something I wanted to address myself, but go ahead.
yeah, and so and then other than that, just the aftermath of the fight was kind of what was more interesting. I saw Frank Martin and Tank kind of clowning his performance. Um, and we know Shakur is not the guy that's going in there to try to get you out of there in the second or third round. I think he is such a smart fighter, where it's just second nature for him to I don't want to use the word be cautious, but to stay with his game plan. It's in second. It doesn't matter who is in front of him. That's what he's going to do. And a lot of the things that people are laughing about, um, if he does get a fight with Tank, and let's say he does win, right? It'll be because he sticks to the game plan and he does what he's been training all his life to do. So much respect to Shakur, man. I rock with him. I think it was a great fight. I'm just wondering about the hand.
Yeah.
There was definitely some concern about the hand, and we never really got word on exactly what the issue was, if there was really even a issue with the hand, but there was some whispers about a hand issue. I think that this fight personally um, left Tank Davis with absolutely no excuse not to fight that man. I think that this fight right here pretty much opened the gate. I think that the argument could be made that this is a guy that he toyed around for too long, and it even looked like earlier in the fight that all he had to do is just put his foot on the gas a little bit, and he probably would have got him out there earlier, and that may be the case. But I think that as a fighter, I think that Shakur Stevenson, one of his biggest strengths is his ring intelligence in the ring and understanding what he's working with while he's working with it. And I think that he did exactly what he was supposed to do, and I think that he did it probably exactly how he needed to do it to get the type of win that he got. He was in the pocket a lot more than I've seen him in the past in this fight, and still was able to make this guy miss, while he was in this guy's chest at moments of the fight. His body work reminded me of another Sugar, which was a young Sugar Shane Mosley.
Mm.
He reminded me of a lightweight Sugar Shane when he was fighting Philip Holiday and these fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like that version of Shane Mosley. where he was looking like a pound for pound great. So you know, I think that he absolutely did what he was supposed to do. I seen personally most of the criticism that I seen came from other fighters, specifically Tank and of course Frank Martin, but it seemed like it came more from other fighters. It seemed like the fans were happy because it was an entertaining fight. It wasn't boring. The fans were entertained. He hurt the boy bad. He softened him up. He peppered him up, and then he completely cooked him. Dude was it was over. Body shots. He showed that he's a throwback type of fighter. You know, he is not just you know, he has the old school fundamentals instilled in his style of fighting. And I think that, you know, Tank Davis, this is the fight right now.
Agreed. With that said, though, I see some people feel like Tank and Keyshawn is a better fight, but I mean, we'll see.
I can understand that because of the way the styles are. You know, they're two slicker boxers and they're, you know, similar stature. So I could see that being a more intriguing fight from especially a hardcore boxing fan. But from a boxing fan and for what I think is good for the sport, period, the fight with him and Shakur and Davis is, to me, probably the best fight that could be made for the sport. You know, there are other great fights that are probably on that level, but I think that what we probably would even see in that fight would probably be the best fight, pardon me, for the sport.
I think both of them pose a threat to being Keyshawn and Shakur. Both of them pose a threat to Tank Davis and his throne as the, you know, pretty much the king of the lightweights. I would say a fight with Shakur is probably due. I think a fight with Shakur it has the potential to look probably less exciting than the fight between Keyshawn and Tank. Like you said, styles make fights. Due to the styles of the fights. Now, everybody know I'm a huge Keyshawn Davis fan at this point. One of my favorite fighters. I will probably be more entertained by that fight, and I know, just as from a fan standpoint, I think I will want to see that next. But I don't think he's earned that spot over Shakur to have that fight. You know what I'm saying? I think it's Shakur's time to raise up to that level of competition and show that he's definitely one of the best pound for pound fighters. And you know, there are some people that think Shakur don't have a chance, and if you believe that, I don't think you know much about boxing. The kid is highly skilled, and I just think due to his defensive ability, he could make the fight less exciting. I ain't gonna say boring or anything like that. It'll be less exciting than the fight against Keyshawn.
At this point, I like Shakur in that fight, and I think that Shakur sees that the problem that he would have is that he would be fighting someone who probably could match his IQ. And that's something that Tank has never faced. He's never been in the ring with someone who could match his IQ. And I think that he sees that in Shakur.
I would probably want to, before I make I would probably lean more towards Shakur beating Tank, like you said, for the same reasons you said. But I really need to see what's going on with them hands. How them hands fill up before I be like, yo, he's gonna beat Tank. Like,
well, if the hands,
he needs to give Tank something to think about. And if you got the hand strength at this point of a teenage girl, no disrespect, it just is what it is. Like, they did the hand strength test. He got the hand strength of a teenage girl. I mean, Eddie Hearn hands were stronger than his. Like, you saw that, right? Like, that's crazy. No disrespect, but we know he's coming off the hand injuries, and I think he had injuries to both hands, if I'm not mistaken, at one point. So, you know, it kind of is what it is at this point. So,
but real quick, you're saying a lot, and I just want to say that if that is the case, right? If he was played with hand issues in this fight, could you really tell? Did he really seem like a fighter who was gun shy, was scared to throw his punches, was scared to land his shots? So even if that was the case, you know, I mean, if he was fighting through any type of issue, ailments, injuries, he definitely did a great job fighting through it.
Facts.
But there was moments in the fight where it appeared like he was wincing in pain a little bit, but I don't think it made him gun shy or any more gun shy than he may appear in any other fight. I will say, all I'm saying is that against Tank, um, he's gonna have to give Tank something to think about in order to keep this guy off him, because I can't see Tank out scoring him, like winning rounds off points per se over a fighter like Shakur unless he drops him. So there's going to be a point in that fight where Tank is going to put a different kind of pressure on a fighter like Shakur, and he's going to have to do more than just move his feet. He's going to have to throw some punches, and he's going to have to give Tank something to think about. Is all I'm saying.
I agree, but here's the thing: that puts Tank into a different type of fight than he's even used to fighting.
No, I don't think so. We've seen him behind on the cards. We've seen him.
No. But we've seen him behind on the cards. But even in those fights behind on the cards, if you're paying attention and you're watching, you can see Tank reading his opponent. You can see Tank making the adjustments. You can see Tank even letting his fighters get comfortable so they can continue to make the mistake that will ultimately get them put. You can see that. I don't see Shakur. I don't see him able to read Shakur on that same degree. I think that Shakur will pose just as much of a puzzle to him as he will to Shakur, and I think that right there will put Davis in a situation where he hasn't been in, where Davis will ultimately find himself in a seek and destroy position, and he is not an actual seek and destroy fighter.
I think Shakur hasn't been pushed. We don't even know. He might have. This might be more levels to what Shakur has, and just hasn't had to show it because nobody could even get him to go there because everything is so easy for him at this point. He's so smart in there in the ring. So I think you're right. I don't know. It's definitely a 50-50 fight. I don't know who I would have because I would Tank. Obviously, all it takes is one. I would like to see how Shakur handles that type of pressure because we haven't really seen anybody, comparable to Tank as far as power goes, put any type of pressure on Shakur. But at the same time, like y'all mentioned before, there's a lot of fights where Tank is behind in rounds and, that KO wins in the fight. If he gets behind rounds early on somebody like Shakur,
Would he ever be able to catch him? Would he ever be able to catch him if he gets behind early like that? If he finds himself 5 or 6 rounds behind on the scorecard, will he be able to catch up now?
I'm not sure. I don't think
that 10 speed that Tank got is insane.
Yeah. And I think you did mention
that
Tank's
shit like
IQ
25 speed.
You did mention Tank's IQ too. I think that's one thing a lot of people don't talk about as much as they should. We know his power, but he's a extremely smart fighter in the ring, man. This is why we got to see it. You know what I'm saying? This is why we got to see it. Even if, they may call it boring, it ain't going to be boring to real fight fans. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely going to be a chess match in there for a little while.
Well, just the drama alone is going to create a certain level of excitement. Just the drama alone in a fight like that,
So, shout out to
I actually doubt it will be boring. It's not going to be Gaddy Ward, of course, but I doubt it will be a boring fight, especially for someone who knows what they're looking at.
Well, let's take a pause for the calls real quick. Just going to remind y'all again to please jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, lead hook that share button, and throw a combination at the notification bell so you can stay updated when we drop new content. And please, I urge you to subscribe to one of the best channels on YouTube, my brother Wide the Dome TV, who always got some highly intellectual conversations going with some very intellectual people and scholars on a variety of topics that's concerned Black people in America and throughout the world, man. And I know my brother's a fellow Pan-Africanist like myself. But we're not gonna get into that. Yeah, we're not gonna get into that, man. We're not gonna have that conversation. But I do want the people to take note of how just how less critical Che Black is of somebody coming from Brick City than he is of, the heavyweights of this division. But we just gonna look past that. You know what I'm saying?
What is that supposed to mean?
Impetuous. My defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
Listen,
What do you
man, I'm just
mean,
giving you
man?
phrases. I'm just giving you
What do you mean, no, man? I'm less critical, man. Like
What?
I've been critical of Shakur when he deserves his criticism. And Shakur, I'm not even as much of a fan as I am as someone who acknowledges his potential and his skill. And it's because of his antics outside of the ring. I think that he must have some type of publicist that he got with, or somebody, his handlers must have gotten with him and was like, look, man, you know, you're not looking good. You're fighting more on Twitter than in the ring, and it's not cool. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, you know, somebody did speak to this kid and let him know that you're not looking good doing these things, and get back in the ring. And I definitely can tell that he had, and this is what impressed me, he intentionally understood, yo, I know the assignment. I got to go out here and be impressive. I got to go out here and look good. So if hands was the issue, he still knew with these hands, not 100%, I still have to look good in this fight. And he actually delivered that. And I think that that's the most important thing that we should look at. He did what he was supposed to do in this fight. This was a fighter that was not supposed to go the distance. He was supposed to get rid of him. It may have took him, 9 rounds to get rid of this kid. Understood. You know what I mean? We might have wanted to see it in 5, but he got rid of him. And he won every round in the process of doing it.
All I'm saying is, yo, Raheem, just remember I said this. I'm telling you, because me and my brother been doing this channel for a while, and we was talking boxing way before we even started the channel. If that was Devin Haney, just saying, if that was Devin Haney, who was fighting the guy fresh off the job and took him 9 rounds to get rid of him, he wouldn't be, you know, it'd be a lot more critical chase. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I know Shakur's
I'm
from Brick City.
I'm a Devin fan, by the way.
Yeah, I'm a big Devin Haney fan. But go ahead. I'm just saying, like, I understand.
Shakur's
from Brick City. He's from the bricks.
I've always given Devin Haney his respect in the ring. Always. Devin Haney got criticized for losing.
For getting cheated, man.
And then how he carried himself after losing. That's it.
Well, they're gonna run that rematch back. So
listen, man,
I got
the tapes. Yo, Raheem, I got the tapes, man. I'm just letting you know. I got all of the
every
tapes.
last one of those tapes.
I got all of the
play
tapes.
Every last one of those tapes. Those tapes will those tapes. What's the word? Those tapes will pretty much support everything that's going on. Not what I'm saying now, but what's actually happening. I said it back then. I said, yo, this guy, he's gonna be the first one to lose. He's gonna be the first one. I said it back then. I said he's gonna be the one. He's the weakest
one
link.
How's he the weakest link? He was taking the most chances.
Yeah,
he was.
I respected him for taking chances.
Nobody would jump. None of the other guys was doing that. Nobody.
I respected him for that. It was just unfortunate he wasn't the best fighter. I respected him for that. I just wish that one of the better fighters had done that as well.
One of the better fighters. All right, man. All right. Well, let's keep it moving. We kind of got to speed through, you know what I'm saying, some of these next fights, because I'm not gonna lie, my stomach is talking to me, and wifey is, you know.
My kids, they gotta feed them in a minute, man.
Yeah. And I gotta link up and do something with the God Mental Son after this real quick. But anyway, the next fight, let's go ahead and go to Virgil Ortiz versus Israel Madrimov. I will say, Terrence Crawford, another one who gets highly criticized for winning, and people look at Virgil Ortiz's performance against Madrimov last night, which is he won by, was it a split? What was it? Split decision? Oh, unanimous decision.
I thought it was a UD.
Yeah, it was a UD. But shout out to Ortiz Jr. put on a great fight. I thought Madrimov kind of looked like he was giving him some problems with his movement. He was using a good jab. But Ortiz stuck to the game plan and kept applying pressure. He stayed in his face the whole night, going to the body, just throwing some hard shots, man. And it was a good performance, man. I think it's probably the best performance Ortiz Jr. has in his career.
Absolutely.
Against that level of competition, man. And props to him, man.
Yeah.
Give me your
Think
thoughts
about
on that, man.
how high we were on Madrimov after the Bud fight, right? Like
Right.
going into this fight, a lot of people had Madrimov winning. By the second round, uh, Ortiz had swelling under both eyes,
Right.
right? Like you said, he stuck to the game plan. He showed heart. Um, I think this is his best win. I think this definitely solidifies him at 154. Um, I think people are going to want to see him and Boots get in there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But I'm definitely that was definitely a great fight. Uh, I I have to go back and watch the Bud fight, but Madrimov seemed like he had a yeah, I don't know. It seemed like he was fighting different, stylistically, and I don't know if
Right.
that was just because of uh, how hard Virgil Ortiz punches, and that was what they worked on in training camp. Um, but I don't remember him fighting like that during the Bud fight. But either way, great fight from by Ortiz. He's definitely a factor at 154. And yeah, I definitely hope to see him in some more big fights soon.
Nah, absolutely. Yo, Che, what you got for me?
Um, yeah, I actually thought that Maginov would have probably pulled it off. I favored him myself, but it was apparent that that wasn't going to happen. Um, um, a fight with he mentioned a fight with Boots, and oh man, it was part of me, man. My brain is in a fog tonight. We're talking about Maginov and Ortiz. Pardon me.
Right.
So a fight with Ortiz and Boots would definitely be an intriguing fight, and it's a fight that would definitely legitimize Boots, a little bit more, having that under his resume. Boots needs one of those type of fights under his resume, and I think that would absolutely be a great fight, right? For
Mhm.
both fighters, because the winner of each fight, whoever wins that fight is now, a problem now.
Mhm.
He's now
Absolutely.
on. He pretty much, whoever wins that fight pretty much has the division on notice at that moment.
And I look, I will say that Virgil Ortiz would win that fight, but I told Bomani yesterday I'm not as high on Boots as I was. I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. Before I thought he was just a world beater, but he still may be. But he needs to fight somebody like a Virgil Ortiz to show the world that he is that dude. I wasn't all that impressed with his last performance, but yeah, we need to see it. But again, Virgil Ortiz fight before that, like he didn't look that great either. You know what I mean? So, um, you know, we'll see. I need to.
Yeah. Well, Jerron Ennis, his next fight,
Y'all give me
he's
1 second.
fighting.
I'll be right back, G.
Yeah, no problem. Boots is fighting Stanley Otis next in the unification belt. So we about to see him, level up in competition to see what he's going to do against Stanley Otis, which I think he's going to handle his business. But I think next for Virgil Ortiz should probably be like a unification because he won the interim WBC belt. I would like to see him against Fundora. Considering Errol Spence looking like that fight is not going to happen. We don't know what's going on with Errol Spence moving up to 154 pounds, but I think a fight with Fundora, and I believe Fundora has the WBC. So we got the interim champ fighting the actual champ for the championship of the WBC. I think that should be the next fight. I think he earned it, and I think he's probably, considering Bud is now out of the division, moving up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo. I look at Virgil Ortiz as probably the cream of the crop when it comes to 154 pounds at this moment. I don't think Fundora beats him. I'm not even too sure if Boots move up to 154 that he beats him. This kid is good, man. This kid is good. So shout out to Virgil Ortiz. And moving forward, man, this next fight was I guess it's funny. I'm not shocked by the outcome of the fight. No, I'm shocked by how the fight ended, but I'm not particularly shocked by the outcome considering, one guy was coming off the bench. But Joseph Parker versus Martin Bacoli, who, at this moment, people like to throw around that title of somebody being a boogeyman of a particular division, and Bacoli, based off his last performance against Jared Anderson, to quote my brother Che Black again, the back alley mugging that he gave this kid, who everybody was high. They was high on Jared Anderson, thinking he was going to be
It
one
was
of
very
the,
high on
if
Anderson.
not
Anderson,
yeah, like they was looking at this kid to be potentially probably the next American heavyweight champion and this, that, and the third. He got dog walked, beat all, from pillar to post. And, Martin Bacoli, he's known, he got a reputation for particularly what he's doing in catch and sparring. Like, he's knocked out Daniel Dubois, apparently, knocked out Usyk in sparring, apparently, Anthony Joshua, caught them hands. And it's clear to see that this dude possesses some real scary power. So I thought even coming off the bench for Joseph Parker to take this fight and fight Martin Bacoli on a 2 days notice showed a lot of heart. And again, Che probably is not looking going to give him too much respect for the man's resume and the little run that he's on, considering Joseph Parker coming off of beating. Well, since he had Andy, he got Andy Lee in his corner now, so I think that really helped him in regards to just having the game plan against some of these guys. After beating Deontay Wilder, he goes on and he fights Zhilei Zhang. And then he was about to fight Dubois, who's another big puncher, to only fight another big puncher in Martin Bacoli, and to stop him. And what was it? Just what round was it? Second round. Had my man on skates.
Second round, it was a second round knockout.
Yeah, he had Bacoli on skates, man. He was looking like, what I'm saying, like Usher, and you know what I mean, on the skates, man. He was dancing around the ring until he eventually fell, and the corner stopped it. And I will say, Martin Bacoli not having the whole fight camp to really get in shape. He came in at over 300 pounds. I will say I thought Joseph Parker came in pretty heavy, but he looked like physically like he looked strong, man. He came in at 260 or 264 or something. And I know that's heavier than he normally comes in. So I thought, Joseph Parker, man, he's on an impressive little streak here, man. I mean, he might not get the respect. I don't want to say respect, but really totally get his props for the knocking out Bacoli. But when you look at the run that he's on right now, I think I got him probably as the second best heavyweight or third best heavyweight right now, based off how this run that he's on. And
I could see that.
Yeah. Good.
No, I can see that, and it's unfortunate. I wish that Bacoli wouldn't have took this fight on such a short notice the way he did, because he was building up a very impressive resume. His only loss having come to Mike Hunter, who Mike Hunter's only loss was to Usyk. So, he had a pretty solid, decent resume as a heavyweight. And I wish that he wouldn't have took this fight on such short notice, because maybe he would have had time to prepare for this fight. This was not somebody that you just go in there and fight with tomorrow. But, he showed some heart by doing it, and he definitely showed that he believed in himself and was confident by taking that fight. I didn't really expect a win from him, but the one thing I did like about Bacoli is that he's very good at setting up traps. I know that Parker was the superior boxer going into this, but I know that Bacoli is a fighter who his ring IQ is a lot higher than it actually looks when you're looking at him fight. He knows how to set fighters up and get them in trouble. And, it's unfortunate. And I think that Bacoli, although this was a crushing defeat, he has the potential to come back from this defeat. but
Well,
we'll
he's
see.
he's scheduled to fight Fa Ajagba in May. I think on the same card that's supposed to have Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia on it. I think he's supposed to still be
Okay.
on that card in May. So, you know, he stepped up, got a quick check, saved the day, and now Joseph Parker on to bigger and better things. But yeah, give me a how you saw the fight go.
Oh yeah, I didn't have much expectations when I found out that I want to say he didn't get to Saudi Arabia until that morning, or something like that, and he didn't have a camp. Um, he was overweight. I think I think that since he had a name, you know, and we already had the issue with the uh, uh, Schofield pulling out of the fight. Um, it was starting to kind of taint the card in some people's eyes. So they needed somebody like a Bacoli to step in, but I mean, he asked for it, and so yeah, but he clearly wasn't ready. I mean, I think he had like 2 or 3 connecting flights to get to Arabia. That's just a lot to ask. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I mean, he did all he could, but I think that's why Turkey said in May, he still got something big for him, just because he kind of he kind of saved the
Today.
card in a lot of people's eyes. You know what I mean?
Definitely, definitely, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely did, man. Um, but let's move on to the main event, what they call the last crescendo. Demitry
Last
Bivol
and
versus Artur Beterbiev. First fight was like an instant classic. Um, First fight was an instant classic. This one I thought was probably more entertaining. Um, and excuse me, Demitry Bivol won by unanimous decision. I had him winning 7-5. Some people had it 8-4, but I think the right man won last night, and I would watch it again. It's a classic
Absolutely.
fight. How you see the fight go? I know you got to go, man. So go ahead, speak your
Yeah,
mind on
no,
it.
no, it was a great fight. I enjoyed that one probably more than the first one, man. Definitely want to see a part three. I'm not sure that the part three is going to be the immediate fight for Bivol, though.
Right.
Um, I kind of have a feeling that they'll go in another direction and then go back, and because when you think about it, trilogies hardly ever happen like back to back to back. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
um, maybe we get a Benavidez fight. If it gets past him. You just never know. You know what I mean? Or they may even give Bivol a soft touch. One of the title defenses. You know what I mean? And then go back, man. But yeah, man, great win from Bivol. I was pulling for Bivol. To have Beterbiev and Canelo on your resume as wins, man. Like that kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know, that might put you in the Hall of Fame right there. You know what I mean? So great win. Great win
Nah,
for him,
absolutely.
man. But peace to the gods, man. I gotta head out, man. It's always a honor to come build with y'all brothers.
Definitely appreciate you, man.
absolutely,
You're
brother.
always welcome over here on the Parry. You know what I
No
mean?
doubt.
You family, and I'll be trying to get you on like damn near every week. Like, yo, fam, was good.
Hey,
We gonna
man,
have
look.
more.
And I'm with it, man. I'm with it, man. You know what I'm saying? Anytime, man. But I'll holler at y'all brothers.
All right, brother.
Mhm.
Peace, peace, God.
Yo, that's interesting. My man saying that he thinks that Beterbiev is the better fight with Benavidez, and you know Bivol Benavidez is the fight. You know, I mean, Bivol won the fight. The winner. Pretty sure Benavidez is looking for the winner of that fight. Bivol clearly was the winner. Benavidez is on a quest for greatness to show that he is the best out there, and I think that Benavidez deserves the winner of that fight. If
I
anything,
think, I
we're
think,
not going to
I
see
think,
him with Canelo.
I think that is the next fight. I do think that Benavidez, Beterbiev, again, will probably be the more entertaining fight. Maybe considering that how the styles match up, but I do think that Bivol is probably the better matchup. Like, I think Benavidez beats the hell out of Beterbiev. And this is no shade to Beterbiev. I'm just looking at the styles. He's a come forward fighter. He doesn't really fight well off the back foot. And David Benavidez is an absolute monster. Like his height, weight, his hand speed, and his ability to put pressure on guys, I think it'll put Beterbiev in a position where he's not used to fighting from. Whereas Bivol already showed he can fight off the back foot, he can fight moving backwards, he can apply pressure, he can move laterally. He has one of the best jabs in the business. I think he presents more of a danger to Benavidez. It's more of a competitive fight in my eyes, and it's not taking anything away from Beterbiev. I think he's an all-time great light heavyweight. Been a hell of a run for him, but I just think that against somebody like David Benavidez, Demitry Bivol is probably a better fight. But yeah, man. Moving on, I think absolutely. Well, Shea Black seems to be having some type of technical difficulties at the moment, but we about to wrap up. Anyway, just want to thank people for tuning in on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're slowly approaching our first 1,000 subs. Definitely want to thank everybody for their support. Just want to remind y'all once again to please go ahead and jab that like button, uppercut that subscribe button, lead hook that share button, and throw a combination at the notification bell so you can stay updated when we drop new content. You can follow us on Instagram and X at the Parry 101, and on TikTok at the .Parry.101 on TikTok, man. Definitely appreciate your support. Shea Black, man, before we raise up, man, what you got to say?
Paul, you got part of me. I had some technical difficulty. I don't know what just happened, but somehow I lost connection. But you know, it was just a great night of boxing. I look forward to it. You know, there was some things about Schofield with the Floyd Schofield. You know, we didn't really get to talk about what's going on with him. It's unfortunate. You don't really know what's happening between him and De La Hoya. You know, De La Hoya was you know, very thankful for, you know, for the turkey and for basically for Turkey and for the accommodations that they accommodated Schofield with. Schofield is claiming that something happened and it was possibly at the hands of De La Hoya, or Golden Boy Promotions, and that's why the fight didn't take place. So there's some drama going on right there in the boxing world. And I mentioned earlier, you know, Floyd Mayweather acquiring 10% of the New York Giants. That's huge right there. That's a huge move right there for any former boxer, you know. So congratulations to Floyd Mayweather on acquiring your 10%, if that's a done deal yet.
Well, no doubt. Shout out to both Floyds. Schofield and Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to my man M. Kenyatta in the chat, Warlock Boxing. You know what I'm saying? My brother Lou Heasy, Adam Hurley, Baba Sekou. See all of y'all. Definitely want to thank everybody for their support, man. Showing up for us here on the Parry. Yeah, man. Once again, jab that like button, man. Help us out. But, you know, we up out of here. You know, remember, this is the Parry where we don't pull or duck no punches, and the Parry is fundamental to boxing. I am your host, Bomani UFG.
I am the pragmatic Shea Black.
And you know what it is. We up out of here. Until next week. Peace.
Actually, now we're going to show you how to catch the jab. Actually, in boxing, it's called parrying.